Well, I like that you said a third-party app. Sometimes you say, I have this app that will defrag your network. Here, let me show you it. I like that model because, I mean, so I was an editor of a technical magazine, and I was amazed. Probably the majority of the papers submitted were all on ways of improving network efficiency. And it just always beat me in the brain thinking, wow, there's so many people out there thinking how to make the network more efficient, and none of those will ever see the light of day because there's no place for them to run that, try it. And that's why I'm a big fan of the sandbox, is that now we'll let them try these out, and that one day you get to the point where someone can come to a tier 1 provider and say, hey, I've looked at your network, and yeah, I don't want to take it over or breach its security, but I've got this app. If you'll try it here, I can show you, I can make it run more efficient because I've noticed this pattern in your bandwidth consumption. There's this pattern that I can leverage to increase your efficiency.
I mean, that's what they're doing inside the data centers right now, right? They're opening it up to apps. I see no reason why we wouldn't do that to the outside, especially if you came in and said, I'm studying the whole picture, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not only going to change what I'm doing inside of this data center, but I'm going to manipulate it on multiple data centers. And all this background information that you're passing through happens to be going on busy hour. Why is that? I'm going to shift that to an off-peak period, and I'm not even going to determine what that is ahead of time. I'm going to load balance, if you will. That's where I would say these third-party guys are really good. There's PhD students that are studying this today, and they're going to come out of school and they're going to have some really good algorithms. They're going to say, how can I load share the network? I can reduce your overall network capacity by 30% if I can load share it. Well, how do I do that? Well, if you manipulated where those applications are happening, because I'll fire them off over there and over there, if you'll allow me to reconfigure your physical layer at the same time, I can reduce your overall network by 30%. That's a huge savings for us, and especially when it's a piece of software that sits on top of there. If we've opened up the network to take advantage of it, it's not that we had to go replace all the Xtera gear that might be in a network. Right. You don't have to go replace those long-haul links. You're just saying, I'm going to use 30% less, or at least I'm going to grow at 30% slower pace. I mean, that's what we're really talking about here, is not that we're going to go off and cap what we're doing. It's how do I keep up with that growth rate and reduce it so that I'm better utilizing the resources I've already got. Yeah. And the ones I put in.
Sure, sure. And I think even with legacy switches, cross connects, OTN, SDH, SONET, or optical, there's already signaling going on to these elements. It's a matter of translating it, creating, if we chose OpenFlow, to create a communication at the right language. So I think the most important thing for the SDN OpenFlow objectives is not to get too caught up in the architecture or the acronyms, but to really approach the applications and the issues behind why previous efforts that were parallel to this didn't make it.
Yeah, they were too specific, right? They weren't trained to abstract it. They were the ones, like you said, trying to go in and understand, well, that's dispersion shifted fiber versus lambda shifted? Oh, come on, guys, what's the parameters in there that really matter? It's not going to, if they're getting into that level of detail, then it'll never work.
It's not going to happen because of the proprietary nature and the innovation that's happened at that level.
Right, and will continue to. Right,
will continue so far. Yeah.
I mean, I think we've with coherent receivers, right? We made a huge step. We've got a whole new paradigm that's opened up to us. We've got the ability to do flexible type grids because we can use the coherent receiver as that final filter. This stuff is really powerful tools. We just need to figure out how to take advantage of a lot of this stuff, and I think that SDN is maybe that shining star out there that they're going to do anyway, right? The data centers have already gone down this path, or they've already made strides towards it. I guess we're just from the transport world saying, well, we'd like to participate. We'd like to be able to save 30% of our bandwidth if we can apply these same principles.
And I think that may be that you've seen kind of consortiums create feasibility studies. I think we're going to see feasibility studies out of these large data, Googles and people that are going to apply this. And they're going to apply it in a particular kind of scenario. And maybe that's going to work as an incubator for the large network operators like yourself, like yours, to see, okay, how does this apply? How can I use it? And that'll help you determine what to offer then as a service. And these things kind of ebb and flow. It may be the case that they decided, okay, I'm tired of running my own network. They're going to start buying the connectivity from you. I mean, we've seen it with the wireless network. First you own everything, and then you sell off your towers.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
Yeah, as soon as it becomes not your core business, then you say, well, you know what,
Exactly.
these Verizon guys, maybe I had to just let them do that.
And once
for
they
whatever
do
is.
it, once you do it in a way that you can do it cost effectively or
Right.
more cost effectively than they can,
Yeah.
you can offer it at a price that they'll be glad to get rid of it.
Yeah, yeah, really, when it's cost effective. I mean, when we do the same thing, as
Yes.
you say, with the towers.
Yeah.
When we had to build them because it was too expensive to rent, that's what we did.
Yeah.
Pretty soon it was cheaper to rent them.
Exactly.
And this is how the old
And I
economy
think
system-
maybe that's what's going to happen with this kind of service and network operation and control, is once it gets down to a place where it is cost effective, then you won't have to convince people to use it. It'll be the obvious solution. But first we've got to find a way to
make it that obvious.
To make it that
Right.
obvious.
Right.
And not just try to create the hype to push everything, but to actually solve the difficult problems so that it is an ideal solution.
I agree. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, thank you very much. Nice talking to you
Enjoyed
today.
it.
Jim,
Right.
nice talking
Thank
to you.
you.
Thanks.